Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it, back at it, back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. Listen. We have quite a bit to talk about today, a lot to discuss, okay? The New York Jets have made quite a bit of moves. All right, they've made some trades, some fallout from that. Okay, a lot of things moving and shaking and going on. Oh boy. All right, we're also going to be talking about, this upcoming game against Cleveland. Man, Jets are 1-7 after a win, against the Bengals. That was a while ago, and they're coming off of a situation where they've made some moves, man, and made some adjustments to the roster. So let's go ahead and get into it because I can talk all day. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Long Beach Joe, like that page. Hold on 1 second, okay, caller. Hold on 1 second. Like that page. Give my content a listen. Okay, my content's up there. Go ahead and comment on that. Also, give me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show. Okay, going over there and do that. I get a lot of feedback, and I want to thank everybody for doing that. Okay, I am also on YouTube as well. Okay, going over to YouTube, Long Beach Joe Jets. Okay, Long Beach Joe Jets. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right, everyone's over there. I'm also on Twitter as well. I'm going to continue to call it Twitter. Okay, at the Long Beach Joe, on Twitter. Okay, go ahead and talk to me. I'll talk back. All right. I like to have great discussions. That's what I like to do. Okay. Not everybody likes to have, fair and balanced discussions. A lot of people like to yell. I don't mind yelling myself right back at you. So please, hit me up, talk to me because I'll talk about the Jets. I go back and forth with everyone. So get involved with everything that I'm doing over there. And like I said as well, I'm also on YouTube, okay? At, Long Beach Joe Jets. At the Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, okay? Come on over. Get involved. Keep in mind when you come over here, okay? There's some people, all right? There's some people in the chat. I call them the Savages, man. That's my chat. You want to know why I call them the Savages? Because they're savage, okay? They are savage. No one is safe. Okay? Not even me. If they don't like your takes, they don't like what you bring into the table, they're going to let you have it. All right? So we got to get into it. Salute to all the savages in the chat. Chris B, always good to see you in the building. He says, hey, Long Beach Joe. Everyone, please like, support, subscribe to the channel. Go Jets. Phenomenal NY Jets content, always representing. Thank you so much. Okay? Chris B, thank you. Salutes. All right? Salutes to everyone watching, all the savages, okay? Operation, I see you in the building as well. We'll get to everybody. Operation says, as bad as the Jets have been historically in the draft, with 7 high-end picks in the next 2 drafts, there is no way the Jets whiff on all 7. They'll hit on at least 4 of them, okay? All right, we're about to get into it right now. Caller, I think it's Rusty. Give me a second, okay? I'm gonna talk about what the Jets have been doing, what's happened so far, and all the moves and shakes that have been made, okay? First, we're going to start off with the Jets made some huge trades. The New York Jets have traded Quincy Williams and Sauce Gardner. I am not joking. For those of you that just may not know, maybe you've been under a rock, I don't know, but I'm not joking, okay? This happened. I was stunned when it happened, shocked, put some content up, and here we are talking about it right now. We're going to start off with Sauce Gardner first. Sauce Gardner was traded to the Colts. The Jets get a 2026 first-round pick. They get a 2027 first-round pick from the Colts, and they also get wide receiver A.D. Mitchell, okay? Now that one of those picks, okay, that first-round pick is a 32nd pick in the first round. I was a little shocked myself, okay? Now, of course, this is, pretty decent haul for Sauce Gardner, right? 2 first-round picks, you get a wide receiver. I didn't even think that Sauce was on the board to be traded. He wasn't a guy that was talked about at all as a guy that was going to be traded at all, not a guy that the Jets were looking to move on from, but here we are, right? Sauce himself was shocked as well, and so was his brother, who was actually his agent. His agent was shocked too. They were stunned. He actually got a call from the Jets and a call from Aaron Glenn, kind of explaining that the trade was more about, it was just business and it wasn't about him as a player. Now, I look at this trade like this. I'm not the biggest fan of this trade. I'm going to keep it honest with you. And I know, Jets fans, we're all positive. We're all hoping for the best in the future, so on and so forth. But to me, Sauce is one of the best corners in the game, if not the best corner. Now, I know that there's a lot of talk now that he's wildly overrated and all this stuff. Nobody was saying that before he got traded. Jets fans weren't screaming that ad nauseum that he was overrated, especially when saying that, well, we weren't winning with him. That's another common argument that's being put out. Well, we weren't winning with Sauce Gardner. Really? Because when Zach Wilson was here, one of the sole reasons why the Jets were even talked about as being a team that could have had a chance to make the playoffs was because of the defense. And Sauce Gardner was a gigantic part of that. He was the guy locking guys up. So I don't really, and it's not like we were losing because of Sauce. It's not like he was giving up, 21 points every game because he couldn't cover anybody. So what I don't understand is we get a guy that wants to be here. Sauce wants to be here for all intents and purposes, or he wanted to be here before he became a Colt. He even said himself to the media, if the Jets turn things around and I am not here, I will become the biggest Jets hater that there is. He said that before he signed his new deal. This guy from day one said, I want to be a Jet for the rest of my career. And he was a really good player. So now here we are, we're trading away draft picks, hoping to land a player like him. That's what we're hoping to do with these draft picks. So, like I said, I'm just not the biggest fan of the move, okay? Now, I know that there's other things that the Jets need to address, but corner is an impact position. That's a position that a lot of teams, look what the Colts just did. They said, hey, we need to upgrade here. We need to make a move. Our secondary needs to be one of the best in the league. And they did what it took. So when you see that value and you see that this type of player, a guy that's been an all-pro, a Pro Bowler, was the defensive rookie of the year, bro, Sauce is really, really good. And it's not like the New York Jets haven't struggled at corner in the past. We've had some issues, right? We all know that. There have been some years where cornerback was a question mark for us, right? So we've seen what happens when you don't have things. If I miss anyone's call, I will call you back, okay? I will absolutely get back to y'all. So I don't necessarily like this trade. I would have rather have kept Sauce Gardner, but it is what it is at this point. You look at the Jets cornerback situation now, it's pretty thin. Michael Carter II, he's in Philly. They traded him. Brandon Stevens, I know people are trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do. Brandon Stevens is not good. He's got to show me more. I'm going to talk more about him at the end of the season, but so far he's been pretty up and down. Okay, there's been some games where he's been all right, but, bro, to start out the season, those first couple games, he was bad. He was getting cooked. So we'll see what happens. The secondary's a little thin here, but it is what it is, right? As we continue to move forward, Quincy Williams gets traded as well. The New York Jets traded Quincy Williams to the Cowboys. They got a 2027 first-round pick from the Cowboys, a 2026 second-round pick, and they also get Mozzie Smith. Now, this trade was something that shocked me initially. And, again, callers, I will call people back that called in. Trust me, okay? I know I'm missing the calls. We have a caller on the line right now. I will call y'all back, okay? Trust me. We'll get moving through these calls. So, Quincy Williams, what we started to figure out as reports started to roll out, Quincy Williams made it clear that he did not want to be with the Jets internally. He actually requested trades from the New York Jets internally, which is it's good that it didn't get out and he didn't make it, wildly public. But it became very clear that Quincy Williams, again, did not want to be a New York Jet. Of course, we all know of that tweet that he put out when Aaron Rodgers was no longer going to be a Jet after the Jets decided to move on from him. Quincy Williams came out and said, basically, well, another rebuilding year for me, right? Another rebuilding year for me. He let it be known that he wasn't very happy, okay? That tweet, of course, was addressed publicly and privately by Aaron Glenn with Quincy Williams, privately, and then he addressed it publicly. And what was crazy about that is in that response, Aaron Glenn, and this was in front of the media, where he said that the Jets were not rebuilding. This was not a move, made to, we're going to go into a rebuild. We're not here to do that. We're going to continue to win. He said this. Okay? He said it. You guys can look this up. All right? But as time continued on, Quincy Williams actually approached the Jets to rework his contract to get some money. They denied that. And then as the season continued on, he started to see some things again, just like everybody else was seeing, where it was like, no, get me up out of here. And so he requested trades multiple times, and then the Jets actually have dealt him. Okay? Again, this sucks, but this move I understand a little bit more because Quinnen, he was tired of it. And Quincy Williams is a phenomenal defensive tackle. And again, Jets fans are bashing him too. Now he's overrated and he sucks. Quincy Williams is a good defensive tackle. He's one of the better defensive tackles in the league. You watch the tape on him. There's like 3-4 blockers on him often. At least 3 guys. And he plays to the tilt. The running game, he's really, really good. He's a good run stuffer. I mean, let's just be serious. It's Quincy Williams, all right? We were all – what's crazy? All the Jets fans that are now screaming that he was overrated, those are the same Jets fans screaming in joy and excitement when he got that big deal and extended with the New York Jets. No lie. So it sucks, but I understand this move a bit more, and the Jets got some picks from him. And I'll tell you what, Mazi Smith, I know that there's, it's been up and down with him. But Mazi Smith is a guy that I think could come in and be a decent run stuffer for the New York Jets. That's where I think he excels. And I think if he's put in the right position within this defense, if they're not asking him to like be a penetrator and they're not asking him to try to get after the QB, if they're just asking him to make it rough up front, maul people, clog up the holes and be a guy that's like a one technique, bruh. He might be decent here, a guy that is going to be solid within the rotation, which is something the Jets need. But we'll see. We'll see because his career has been a bit up and down. All right. But there it is. So you look at the New York Jets now in 2026, they got 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. And then in 2027, which is a draft that a lot of people are lauding as, being one of the better drafts, coming up. In 2027, they have 3 first-round picks. Now, we've seen the Jets have this kind of capital before. What's crazy is Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson. Everybody remember that draft? That was a draft that we had traded away quite a bit of, players and things like that to accumulate that type of capital. And, of course, we traded up, and made some moves in that draft as well. But you got to wonder, man, the Jets have to get it right in these upcoming drafts. They absolutely have it right. And there's a lot of pressure for the Jets to get it right because if they don't, you've gotten rid of Sauce Gardner. You've gotten rid of Quincy Williams. These are foundational guys that you build your franchise up with, right? So we're going to be talking about that tonight. Also, there were some guys as well that did not get traded, but according to reports, were getting calls for and could have been dealt. Okay. One of them, Breece Hall. Now, we've been hearing a lot about Breece Hall. We've been hearing about Breece Hall possibly being traded since the offseason. Supposedly there was teams that was interested. A lot of people talking about moving on from him. And according to reports that there was an offer on the floor for Breece Hall, a 4th-round pick from Kansas City. The Jets wanted a 3rd, and that's the reason why he was not dealt, according to reports. Okay. Now, there was also something else that came out as well. A rumor, okay, or you can call it a report from Kurt Benekert that leaked that Breece Hall wanted to be traded. According to Kurt, according to the reports, Breece Hall contacted him and said, hey, tell people I want to get up out of here. I want to get a fresh start. Okay. Now, this takes an interesting turn because, people kind of started to say, hey, we don't really believe this, right? And then Kurt Benekert leaks a DM between him and Breece with the handshaking emoji. Like, yeah, go ahead and tell him that. So He deleted that, but it's out there. Okay? So you start to wonder, right? You start to wonder. And what's crazy is this was talked about with Breece by the Jets mainstream media. And I want you folks to hear what he had to say. Here's Breece Hall speaking on some of the rumors that are out there about him possibly want to move on from, or possibly wanting to be traded from the New York Jets.
There were 2 different reports that came out that said you had a desire to be traded, that you wanted, you would welcome one. Is that true?
I think there's just been a lot of stuff out, from just stemming from the summer. There's been a lot of stuff that's true and false. So I just let that be what it is. It's out there. It is what it is. But I'm here and I'm worried about. We're playing Cleveland this week. That's what I'm worried about.
Did you ever request a trade?
No.
Now, he says there, some things are true, some things are not. Okay, he didn't necessarily answer the question. He said that he didn't request a trade, but he didn't come straight out and say, I never told anybody that I wanted to be traded. Those rumors, and I'm very sure he knows, where those rumors are coming from. I didn't tell anybody anything. I thought that was strange. But the media also asked him if he wanted to be with the Jets next season. And here's his answer to that.
You said what?
Do you want to be here next year?
If they'll have me, yeah.
Oh, so have there been any talks about?
No talks. Like I said, I'm focused on balling on Sundays and letting the rest of it take care of itself.
Now, he says that he does want to be here next year if the New York Jets were to have him. So maybe the rumors are just rumors. Maybe it was just a lot of, huff and bluff. Maybe those DMs or whatever it is aren't real. Who knows? But I find it very, very interesting. But I'll tell you what, the Jets did not move Breece Hall. I'm glad they didn't. Everyone knows I love Breece Hall. I think he's the engine to this New York Jets offense. I think that we need to run the football with him more. I think that we need to run the offense through him more. But if they don't get Breece Hall re-signed and figure something out, and this situation spirals, I think it's going to get it. It's going to look really bad on the New York Jets. I think they need to get a deal done with him and keep him a Jet if you're going to keep him a Jet, point blank, period. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on as well with the callers. Jermaine Johnson as well was a guy that was talked about as, getting some calls. All right. There were teams that were calling about him, seeing, hey, could they acquire him? Now, they had a second-round pick on the floor for Jermaine Johnson. Teams were calling in saying, hey, we'll give you a second, but the Jets wanted more. They wanted a first. Okay. He ends up not getting traded. They're not moving on from Jermaine Johnson. But Jermaine did respond to the trade of Sauce Gardner and Quincy Williams on a Twitter post. And he said, I'd be lying if I said I was happy my brothers are gone, because I'm not. I'm sick, but I believe strongly in the organization, staff, and my other brothers in the locker room. I said when I got drafted, I wanted to be the reason or part of the reason this thing gets changed for the better. And that's going to continue to be my outlook. I love this team and this fan base, and y'all will continue to get my all, my absolute best on and off the field. Let's look onward and upward, because better things are coming, and I give my word on that. Go Jets always. Yo, get this man a deal, bruh. Get this man a deal. What are we waiting on when it comes to Jermaine Johnson? Get him a deal. Keep him a Jet for the next 30 years, all right? What a class act, okay? What a class act. I love it. So we know, Jermaine Johnson's going to be here as well. And I'm excited because I think, again, and this is Jermaine Johnson coming off of a tough injury, which took him out last season. He's coming back, and he's been playing all right. Once he really continues to get his legs underneath him, really heals up from the injury, I think he's going to absolutely go off as the season continues, and even next season as well. But I'm excited about Jermaine Johnson, and what a class act. A guy that's a Jet through and through. I'm excited that he's still here. Quincy Williams was also another guy on the market, okay, that was getting some calls. The New York Jets were asking for a fourth rounder, but there was no takers. So he's still here. Now we got some interesting news about Quincy as well. Today, okay, we were told by Quincy that he had his starting spot taken away. He's no longer going to be starting, not in this upcoming game. Directly from Quincy, he says, my coaches told me I was underperforming. that I've been underperforming since training camp. Quincy went on to say that he's not thrilled with the decision, but he's also not mad because it helps him, but because he hopes to win his job back. I tell you what, man. I tell you what. It's very interesting. And it's interesting because if you thought that Quincy Williams was underperforming and you thought he's been underperforming since training camp, why didn't you trade him? Why didn't you trade him for whatever you could get if he's not gonna start for you? Trade him and get something for him. Get him out of here. And if you're not gonna trade him and get something for him and get him out of here, then are you gonna work out a deal with him to keep him here? Like, what are you gonna do? So we'll see what happens going forward with Quincy Williams. I thought that was just a misstep. You should have traded him. You should have got some type of capital for this guy if you think he's underperforming, so much so that you're gonna sit him and start someone in front of him. Now, I've been watching the games. I think that Quincy is the Jets' best linebacker. Every time I watch the games, he's flying around. Again, I'm not a Jets coach. I'm not Aaron Glenn. But I see him moving around and he be making plays. So it is what it is, I guess, right? I mean, Sherwood hasn't been the greatest. So we'll see what happens as, the season continues forward, but that was interesting. I'll tell you what, Garrett Wilson, though, untouchable. That was the reports. Garrett Wilson's untouchable. Teams were calling about him, trying to acquire him, and the Jets said, no way, Jose. That ain't happening, baby. You can't give us enough to get rid of him. So, no. So we know that Garrett Wilson's going to be in the building. That's exciting because Garrett Wilson is a phenomenal wide receiver. What's crazy is I remember Elijah. I really remember when Elijah Moore got drafted, and I was telling people, hey, we need to wait before you call him the greatest wide receiver the Jets have ever drafted. We got to see what's going on with him. People, oh, Joe, you don't know. I said, let's wait and see. And then Garrett Wilson gets drafted a little while after him. And I've watched Garrett Wilson light this league up and become everything that we thought Elijah Moore was going to be. Bro, Garrett Wilson is unbelievable. He's unbelievable. He's good. And I'm so glad the Jets got him an extension. So we'll see what happens going forward with him. But again, he's untouchable. Jets don't want to move on from him. I'm glad. And he was at practice as well. So we're going to see if he's, ends up playing against Cleveland. But we'll get into that a little bit later. The Jets also made another deal before the deadline. Jasir Taylor from the Chargers. They got him for a 2028 conditional 7th-round pick. The Jets also placed Andre Sisco on IR and signed Dean Clark to the active roster. So the Jets are doing business, man, and making moves. They're making some things happen, some shocking trades is going on. We're going to get to the lines and the callers because I can talk forever, but I'm not going to because I want to hear from y'all, okay? Y'all see the number on the screen, 805-885-0467. Please give the video and stream a thumbs up. Okay, share it across your social media with your friends and your family. If you call in and I miss your call, don't worry. I'm going to call you back, okay? I'm going to call you back. We're going to move through callers, and I want to hear from everybody tonight, okay? It's that time. Moves have been made, and I want to get y'all thoughts. First, we're going to the line, man. And you already know what time it is. I know that he has some thoughts, and I know that he has some things that he has to say, okay? We're going straight to JJ from Brooklyn. JJ salutes. Always good to hear from you, JJ. Give me your thoughts, man. Sauce Gardner is now a Colt. How are you feeling about it? Oh, hold on. One second before you say that. Let me give you some respect. Oh, where are my manners? For those of you that do not know JJ, he's a savage. All right? He's a savage. JJ, give me your thoughts, man. I apologize.
All good, man. Salute to you, brother. Salute to you, man. Listen, that was, a shocking day. All the names you heard, you did not hear Sauce, but I guess they just got an offer that they couldn't refuse. 2 first-round picks for corners is a haul. It just is, So, yeah, it's hard to turn that type of package down. Quincy Williams, I'm okay with. To me, he's Mr. Invisible. So
Wow.
I'm happy that
Okay.
we got what we got for him. I hear it all the time. Oh, double, triple teams. No, it's
Mhm.
nonsense. I watched plenty of games where he gets mauled one-on-ones. Where Cincinnati, he got mauled one-on-one all game.
Mhm.
He has one sack. I believe it was the first or second play of the year. He's just not an impact player. I'm sorry, and nobody can convince me otherwise. We
Okay.
got a haul. We got way more than I thought we could have got for him.
Okay. I mean,
So listen,
I don't agree with your take
uh,
on Quinnen. I do think that Quinnen is one of the better D tackles in the league, and I do think that he
nah,
sees a lot of teams. But again, there's a lot of Jets fans that think the same way that you think. That's how y'all feel. It is what it is.
yeah.
But I want to go back to Sauce and what you were talking about with him, man.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
were talking
man.
about getting that haul.
Wow.
All right,
Wow.
we got two first round picks, right? AD Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's cool and all, right? That's great. But
He's
you're
talented. He's a talented receiver.
Yeah,
so
but
hopefully he can figure things out here.
he is, but you're also losing Sauce Gardner, who's a foundational piece at corner. You're losing a guy that's like a building block for your defense. You know, I understand getting the haul, and I get it. We got some first round picks. One of them is a 32nd pick in the first round, which is basically, it's the bottom of the first round.
Second round.
Yeah,
right,
and a lot of people call it, but it's the bottom of the first round. The question starts to become, one of those picks, you're going to be drafting a corner. One of those picks, you're going to be drafting a guy. Because, look, and again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm keeping it real. I don't know about Brandon Stevens being a number one, right? Like,
Listen,
he
I
hasn't
will
shown
say
us that
this.
ability yet. And my other thing is, with that pick, because you're going to be drafting a corner eventually, well, with that pick, aren't you hoping that guy turns into exactly what Sauce was here? So why get rid of Sauce? That's just my mindset. Give me your thoughts.
I will say this. All right. Stevens, okay, he was awful the first 4 or 5 games. The last month, I will say, he's been, dare I say, almost great. It's been pretty shocking, but he's been really, really good. I gotta say, he has. I gotta give credit where it's due. I'm still not sold this is what he is.
Well, I mean, hold on.
But
Let me add some context to that. Let me add some context. We did play the Broncos, who are terrible offensively, and we played the Panthers, who are terrible as well. I just want to put that there in that context when we talk about Stevens. And we also, when we talk about the Jets defense, I said the exact same thing. Those are
he did do well versus Chase. He held him over under 100 yards.
Okay. I'll give you that. Go ahead. Continue forward.
So listen, if Stevens is going to be half of what he's been in the last 4 or 5 games, we could live with him and Thomas. I thought Thomas did a very good job versus Cincinnati versus Higgins. After that long touchdown, you didn't hear Higgins' name the rest of the game. I think that was his only catch. So that means he did a fairly solid job on one of the best wide receiver 2s in the league. I'm not sure if that's enough. That trio at corner, time will tell. So listen, it's these trades. What it's going to come down to is, do we hit on these picks? Because if we don't, then it sets us back. If we do, if we hit on all these first round picks and second round picks we got now in these trades, then that could be something that helps hopefully turn this franchise around for the better. Like you said, the 2027 draft is supposed to be one of the best in years.
Mm-hmm.
So to have 3 firsts, you hope, we have to become big Cowboys and Colts haters, right? Basically, right? The more they lose, the better for us. So listen, this is what it's going to come down to. Whether we win or lose these trades is what we do with these picks.
Yeah.
Do we draft good players or not? And do we develop them,
And
so,
that's very interesting as well. And that's a point that I wanted to bring up tonight too, is the Jets have to hit on these picks. And what's crazy is
absolutely.
The last time the Jets were in that situation, right, we had 3 first rounders. We did hit on those picks. Sauce, Garrett, and Jermaine Johnson, and look at where we're at now, right? And that brings me to another point. That brings me to another point, which is a lot of people are talking about the hitting on the picks, right, and the draft capital and all the things that's going on. And immediately my mind goes, okay, everyone's talking about draft capital and hitting on picks and getting the right players,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's talking about coaching and how that plays an impact and a role in developing players. Now, I love Aaron
Right.
Glenn. You know, I'm hoping he turns out to be the right guy. But is no one like, because to me, in my mind, at this point, this is a rebuild. I don't care what they want to call it. I know that Darren Moogie said this is not a tear down, and this is a rebuild. Okay, it is. Like that's what we're going into. They can try to call it whatever they want to, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
My question starts to be: is Aaron Glenn the right guy to lead this rebuild? And let me preference this. Okay, I'm here to give. I'm here to handle the tough situations and answer the tough questions and ask the tough questions as well. Before the win against the Bengals, damn near every Jet fan that I talked to said that Aaron Glenn should be fired. That's a fact. I did shows where people were like, yo, we got to get him out of here. We were 0-7, right? 0-7, and we're struggling. And not only were we struggling, like, just because the lack of talent, right? We all expected that. No, it was struggling coaching-wise. That was like the time when, remember, we couldn't figure out how to put drives together before the half? Anybody remember that? Anybody remember? Yeah. Like all of the bad in-game decisions that we were talking about on a weekly basis. Right here. So I'm just wondering, like, how come Jets fans aren't talking about that and how that factors into development of players? Is Aaron Glenn the right guy to even lead this rebuild? Because that's what we're going into. And do you believe that he's the right guy to develop the young talent that we're going to be bringing into the building? Because, and before I'm gonna let you go, but everyone's talking about a quarterback. Salutes to Vibes. Vibes in the chat says they have to hit on a quarterback. You're right, Vibes. Right? But we've seen the Jets hit on quarterbacks in the past. Anybody remember Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold was really good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from SC. Fight on. Right? But I knew he was going to be good in the league. But the reason why Sam Darnold never worked out here was three things. One, the Jets never properly protected him, which was the big hit. That was a hit. The Jets also never gave him proper weapons to succeed. But the thing that absolutely took Sam Darnold up out of here that he just could not recover from was the Jets never gave him proper coaching to progress and develop here with the New York Jets. Before he got out of here, before the Jets moved on from him, his last coach that like where he was playing in was Adam Gase. They gave him Adam Gase, and that was it. The Jets moved on from him after that. That's when Joe Douglas came in. They got him up out of here. So you start to see that coaching plays a factor because under Adam Gase, no quarterback could survive. But we saw Sam Darnold, bounce, go to the Vikings, turned up, handled his business. Now he out there with them boys, them Hawks, handling business.
Wow.
Right? So I'm just gonna say this, and I want to get I'm gonna let you go ahead, and I'm gonna toss it to you. Do you think that Aaron Glenn is the right guy to lead this rebuild, and do you believe that he'll be able to develop and mature a young QB or the young players that we're going to get from these drafts?
Oh boy, that's the $1 billion question, right? I wish I had an answer. Boy, I don't know.
Come on,
honestly,
JJ.
Like I don't have an answer.
From what you've seen so far. From what you've seen so far, give me a yes or a no.
I'm gonna say no as of today. Right now, 9:04 p.m. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But we have to put our faith in him and Muji that they're gonna draft the right players, develop develop them, especially if we draft a quarterback. What else? We have no other choice. Those are the guys that we're gonna have to trust to hit on these picks, and hopefully draft good culture players. Good players on the field. There's a lot of holes. I think our only area where we could say maybe we don't have to address is probably the O-line. Everything else, I mean, receiver, we need multiple receivers. I think we need multiple edge rushers. We need a defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now we need a corner. We need a linebacker. We need a safety. You know, listen, we you know, like the draft shows where they put team needs and sometimes they put on the bottom everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Like they almost need everything except for O-line. I think you could put everything except O-line, which is good that we have the O-line. We could say pretty much intact, you know. But besides that, I mean, oof. Yeah, man.
Okay. Listen. We're going to keep on. My final question before I let you go, JJ. Yo, Jets got Cleveland coming up. What is your 3 keys to victory?
Yeah. Oh, man. First team to 3 points wins. I mean, listen, boy, I think just don't turn the ball over. I think we'll be good because the Browns' offense might be worse than ours. That's saying something.
Yep.
So, Fields, use your legs. Don't turn it over. Establish the ground game with Breece. And don't let Garrett have 20.5 sacks like he had last Sunday.
What's your final score prediction, JJ?
Yeah. I'll go Jets 13, Browns 10.
All right. Yeah. Listen, he took the Jets. Listen, JJ, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, my man. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Listen, JJ calling in. JJ calling in with some takes, all right? He's not playing around. He's not joking around. He's not playing around. No, nothing. He's all business. I'm asking tough questions, man. I'm asking tough questions. Do you believe that Aaron Glenn is the right guy here for the New York Jets? Is he the right guy to lead this rebuild? Is he the right guy to groom and develop these young players into what we need them to be? So we're going to get back to these lines. Listen, my guy in North Carolina is in the building. Are you there?
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
right here, buddy.
For those of you that do not know, this man from North Carolina is a savage. He's a savage. Okay, salutes to GM Empire in the chat as well. He says Quincy got benched. That's a fact. That's a fact. GM also says QB, they have to hit with the right coaching and weapons in front of him. He has the line and a running game. We will see. We will see. Now, North Carolina, to come back to you, man. Salutes to all the savages in the chat as well. Keep putting your thoughts in the chat. I will come to y'all. I'll see y'all. North Carolina, man, we haven't talked in a little bit. A lot of things moving and shaking surrounding the New York Jets right now. You know I can't wait to talk to you. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. They out of the building, baby. What are your thoughts about it?
When I first got the news flash, you know, I do a lot of YouTube. I forgot who I was hitting up. I don't know who it was. It was 24/7 or one of the other channels. And it was flashing that Quincy Williams has been traded, blockbuster trade, and then Sauce Gardner was traded. And then I want to go deeper into it, you know, the details of it, as far as what the compensation is. And when I found out what we got in return, I was like, wow. I mean, it was like mixed with kind of, you know, sadness to see 2 of our great players gone. You know, I think about when we first invested in them, everybody was so happy and was looking so forward to the future and looking how to end it. And I thought about it early this morning, the fallout. It took it a little while to reach them. Obviously, got to Sala and Douglas first. It took a little while to spill over on their players. Missing on that pick, the first-round pick, Zach Wilson, was just huge. It had a devastating domino effect.
Yeah.
You know, it cost us Sala and Douglas, cost them their jobs. And little did we know, it just took a few years for it to trickle down to the players. Because once the new regime came in, you know, Glenn's going to want his own guys. I mean, on one hand, he's going to try to be fair and take a look at what the existing talent and see who he wants to keep. But at the other end of that, the reality is this team does not have a franchise quarterback. And I think he and Muji and probably ownership and everybody inside the building were probably contemplating this decision, what to do. And I think they made the right decision, because I was thinking about just a couple of days ago about Sauce Gardner, about trading him and about trading Quincy Williams. So it looks like the front office is in line with me. But in the case of Sauce Gardner, I was thinking a couple of years ago we could have traded him. You know, we could have got 2 ones and maybe a mid-round pick and maybe an additional late round pick in 2027 or whatever, and then to have this actually transpire yesterday, and we get 2 first round picks, I'm like, wow.
But my question, and I hear what you're saying, and it's interesting that you were thinking about trading Sauce Gardner a couple of years ago, because he was really just going crazy a couple of years ago. But my thing is this: is what exactly? How much better are you without Sauce Gardner? I understand wanting to get a quarterback. I get it. I would love to have the New York Jets get a quarterback as well, but there's also other components of your team that have to be there, and you don't have to trade guys off of your team to move up and often get quarterbacks. You could trade future draft capital, because what you hope to have happen in the draft is actually what we had happen in the draft for us that year that we got Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall. Like, you want that capital to turn into that. So you get yourself a foundational corner. Okay, He's a foundational corner. Jet fans can try to say whatever they want to say now. That's cool. I understand. I've been a Jet fan my whole life. I know how it goes around here. Okay. Once a guy's gone, all of a sudden he's trash. He's never been good. Blah 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 blah. Right. You're hoping that your guys turn out to be what Sauce is: All Pro, Pro Bowler, Defensive Rookie of the Year, clearly regarded as one of the best corners in the league. And even when people talk about, well, Sauce is overrated and refs don't call pass interference against him, I think that that's a nonsensical take as well, because we're the New York Jets. When do the refs not like to throw a flag at us?
That's so true.
I mean, come on. Like,
we should have got called. It was blatant.
That's what I'm saying.
We didn't get called. Jermaine Johnson's holding, Sam Darnold getting slammed on the ground in Denver.
Come on.
Call. And,
I'm just, that's what I'm saying, North Carolina. I'm just saying, like, these narratives that I'm hearing coming out, like, oh yeah, the refs just don't call things on Sauce, but they call things on us they call stuff that we don't even do. They be calling. Right. We've literally seen them screw us multiple times. What was that? ASJ, the touchdown that wasn't a touchdown that helped the Patriots beat us. Like, there's been so many bad calls, but all of a sudden the call, the refs just don't want to. They don't want to call anything on Sauce. It's like, it's ridiculous. But you're hoping to see, right, capital turn into guys like Sauce Gardner. And I think that I understand the idea of wanting a young quarterback and getting him in here. I get that, right? But young quarterbacks also need other things to help them too. Phenomenal defenses help young quarterbacks. Even though Zach Wilson sucked, he was terrible, that Jets defense put him in so many good opportunities. Sometimes we were in short fields because of the defense had got a turnover or was able to really stifle people. They gave him multiple opportunities to get it done offensively. Like, so why are we getting rid of foundational players instead of just reaching into the future and grabbing a little capital there to move up to get a quarterback? What are your thoughts about that?
And I think what it is that they got an offer. It could have been a combination of factors. I think it is. My gut is leading me to think this is that they got an offer that was too good to refuse, those 2 first-round picks. And then looking toward potentially the 2026, and maybe even what I'm hearing now, that the 2027 draft must be tremendous. So I think what it is, they're setting up the board now. Like a master chess player, this movie appears to be very, very good, setting up the board now so they have so much flexibility. And at the same time, financial flexibility. Now, all of a sudden, I'm hearing we have over $100 million in salary cap.
Yeah.
When is the last time we had that kind of money since, what was my man name? John Izek? That we had that amount of money in cap.
We had that with
basically,
we had that with Mike McCagnon. We had a lot of money with Mike McCagnon.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah. We had like a ton of.
But wasn't that inherited? I think.
I think it was
from. Is it something like that?
I'm not sure. I think it was, but we had a ton of money one year with Mike McCagnon. I think that was the year he won Executive of the Year or something like that. Like he was terrible.
That's right.
But continue on. I didn't mean to.
Oh yeah.
But okay.
Yes, I think the thing about it, and also I want to say too, I don't think, and I could be wrong, it's possible that Sauce Gardner is not quite in the mold of the kind of corner Glenn is looking for. Glenn is probably looking for a ball hawking, downhill, similar to some traits of what he was. Then was nasty.
Yeah,
He was a small corner.
He was really
I remember
good.
watching games where you see the receiver stop, run a go and stop, and you don't see Glenn in the pitch, and all of a sudden you see him break out of nowhere, break right back into the pitch and almost pick it off or knock the ball down. I think he's looking for stylistically a corner that's closer to his own image. I think he wants to build his team in his image. Very physical, very nasty, and very intense. And every time you step in the ring with him, you know you played someone. Something like Jermaine Johnson, Joe Klecko, guys like that. Wayne Quebec, some of that spirit, like they have.
Yeah. I have a question though. If that's true, like to me, and this even goes back to the question about quarterback, and I want to talk about that in a little bit.
Yes.
Even some of the selections that they've made, let's like look in free agency. Like Stevens, to me, that was their like big free agency guy. Like they brought him into the building. That was one of their big free agency signings. Brought him into the building immediately. They wanted him to fill in that spot that DJ Reed had left because DJ Reed's gone, went to the Lions. And Stevens has been as up and down as it gets, in my personal opinion. I know people are saying, well, for the last month he's been good. Well, yeah, we played the Panthers and the Broncos. Those aren't like unbelievably stellar offenses, right? The Jets defense pretty much, shut those guys down. But then guess what? We played the Bengals, right? An upper echelon and they gave up 38 points. They went right back to what they were before when they couldn't stop anybody. So you got to start to wonder. But that also leads me back to the quarterback position and what we were talking about. And you brought up some good points. We're talking about all this capital and how we're going to hit on these picks and how we need to have a quarterback coming into the building, a young quarterback. And Darren Moogie's the right guy to select the quarterback, and Aaron Glenn can do all these things. Well, my question is this guy I got on my screen, Justin Fields. Well, they did select a quarterback already, though. Remember? Because we had Aaron Rodgers, and they told Aaron Rodgers in a very brief meeting, we're moving on. And the guy that they moved on from Aaron Rodgers with was Justin Fields. He was the guy that was supposed to come in, right, and be the guy to lead the New York Jets forward for however long, who knows. If he works out, then he could be our franchise quarterback. If not, we'll draft a young guy, to have him into the building. Well, the thing is that they gave Justin Fields, $30 million? Guaranteed, and they were ready to bench him 6.5 weeks into the season. So my question to you is, do you think you can trust Moogie to select a quarterback out the draft when the guy that they selected to come in and lead the team after moving on from Aaron Rodgers, they were ready to bench in 6.5 weeks?
Yeah.
Does nobody question this? I'm asking tough questions. Does nobody factor that in?
That's a very important question.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
They're going to have to get it right, the quarterbacking position. It seems as though in recent decades, a decade or so, the Jets have managed to hit on all the other picks at all the other positions.
Yeah.
From D line, corner, wide receiver with Garrett. I mean, virtually every position. Safety with Jamal Adams. You remember we got Calvin Pryor on the Rex Ryan.
Yep.
That didn't work out.
He was
and
terrible.
Then we came back with Jamal, all pro, and we're hitting at it seemed like almost every position except quarterback. We're hitting at every position. Back in the day when I was coming, I'm OG. A Jet fan, back when they took Kyle Brady instead of Warren Sapp, that nightmares debacle.
Facts.
I see recently this team has really changed where they have hit even under Mike McCagden, who was like a one round guy, first round guy, and that's it. We managed to hit on those picks. I'm probably not as concerned with hitting on those early picks, but can we get the quarterback right though? Can they do what Joe Douglas and Saleh and Mike McCagden and all the other executives couldn't do? It's hit on the quarterback position. Even when Rex was our coach, we took Mark, and I thought a lot of Mark Sanchez. I was so excited when we moved up. I anticipated. I think we were picking 13th, something like that, and move all the way up to 6. I said, we're about to get our quarterback. When they announced his name, I was so excited. They broke down the film. I said, yeah, hopefully we finally hit and got our franchise quarterback. And this way Mark carried himself
Mm-hmm.
and handled himself with the media and the public. He was like a dream, GQ magazine. I said, yeah, we finally got our star. And then a butt fumble later, all that just went right on down in the talk.
Yeah,
oh
he
my
wasn't.
God.
He wasn't. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mark was that was rough. That was rough. But
yeah,
yeah,
it was.
look, I have legitimate questions, and
Yeah,
I'm
you're
I'm
right.
gonna like I said, I'm gonna ask the tough questions. I understand some Jets fans are just like enamored with having all this capital and
Yeah.
having all these things, but we've been here before, right? Where
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
I remember the night we drafted Sam Darnold. I was over the moon. For whatever reason, it didn't work
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah.
I remember Jets fans telling me the night that we drafted Zach Wilson that he was better than Trevor Lawrence and that the New York Jets had won the draft and we got our quarterback. And that didn't work out either. And I'm just asking,
Yeah,
I'm just asking
Mm.
tough questions. And I'm saying
yeah.
these upcoming drafts, whether they take a guy in 2026 or take him in 2027, I'm looking around and I'm saying, okay, well, you've named a quarterback before. And you were ready to bench him. So these young guys coming up, can you get the right guy in here? Because if the Jets do actually land their franchise quarterback, we're going to be a completely different team. And we've seen that. We've seen teams. I remember with the Colts where, after Peyton Manning, we're looking and they got Andrew Luck and we saw them be a different team, but they didn't protect him. We saw various other teams, right, finally find their franchise quarterback. Look at the Bills. We can't stand the Bills. They found Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
You see where they're at, right? So we've seen that change teams, and I'm hoping. Hoping. I really want to see Moogie and Aaron Glenn find their franchise guy and turn the Jets around and take it up a notch. But
that's right.
I'm looking around and I'm just like, hey, there's some questions, but we got the capital, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Oh yeah.
I also want to ask you about really quickly. I want to ask you, man,
Sure.
Breece Hall, rumors surrounding him, possibly on the cusp of getting traded. Kansas City calling around, asking about him. What are your thoughts about that? Him, Jermaine Johnson, even Quincy Williams getting benched. How do you feel about all those situations?
Yeah, it's I guess the fallout from, as I mentioned earlier, the missing on franchise quarterback. You referenced Zach Wilson. And this is the I can try to pronounce it.
Reverberation.
It's like reverberation, like something that starts in one part of your body and it sort of travels through the rest of it. And this is where we're seeing the fallout, from missing on that pick, and because we missed on that pick. Usually when you miss on that pick, within 4 years, the head coach and the GM, what we've seen over the years, usually get fired.
Yeah.
But Joe Douglas and Saleh bought themselves another year or so, bringing in Aaron Rodgers, and we were hoping and praying that Aaron had a little. We knew we were old or slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
We were hoping he had a little gas in the tank, maybe at least get us in the playoffs, and we could be excited and happy, and at least delay, try to save their job until hopefully maybe they can take another shot, at drafting that franchise quarterback. But it never transpired.
Yeah. There was a lot of issues there.
Both wound up getting fired. First it was Saleh coming back from the London experiment and losing that game, lost Saleh his job, and then they stripped all the power and authority away from Joe Douglas, and we knew the handwriting was on the wall. And I'm still learning a lot about the inner workings of the NFL franchise. And I've been a fan for over 40 years. I've been a fan since 1980. But only recently am I seeing how the Joe Douglas situation, what happened there, and Mike McCagden, and kind of get some hint of what really goes on the inside. We always see the stuff from the outside, with the press secretary, the representative from the teams, and the GM, surface stuff. But we never get that inside look,
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting going forward, man. Because we got a lot of picks, a lot of capital, and there's a lot of fallout. We'll see. I think this situation going forward, Breece Hall, is going to be very, very interesting. Because he says he wants to be here, man. He says he wants to be here. Yeah. But there have been other reports that, that he wants to go somewhere else and start out fresh. And I'm wondering if he gets an offer from another team like Kansas City or someone else, if he bolts, and if he does, and the Jets don't get any capital for him, that's going to really hurt not only the offense but the Jets as a whole.
Yeah.
Because Breece Hall.
What I'm hearing about his situation is they do have some control. I'm hearing a couple of different kind of ways they can tag him.
Yeah, they can tag him. Yeah, for sure.
I think, transitional tag. I'm hearing that was thrown out there, which I guess which would mean it's like an offer sheet. The other team can make the initial offer, and then we have a certain amount of time to match. Whether we want to match that, that's one of the better options I'm hearing out there. So I'm hoping Moogie and Ben will have those discussions on the inside, and they'll hopefully go over all of that and consider those options, because I don't want to see us lose Breece Hall. Kind of almost like the way we lost Huff. Yeah. And then get that proper compensation. That's what drives me nuts.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was so brutal.
Players and don't get that compensation.
Yeah, that was brutal. Losing Huff having him sign for nothing. Nothing to compare to what we could have easily have given him the deal that he got from the Eagles. Yeah. But that was so rough. But anyway, let's move forward. Okay, Jets got an upcoming game against Cleveland. Give me your 3 keys to victory and your final win, your final score prediction.
Get Myles Garrett blocked. Get Myles Garrett blocked. And get Myles Garrett blocked. Because if we can contain him, he's a monster. He's not easy. He's not easy to block. You can't block him at all. But if we can somehow figure a way to get the offense going, get a couple of touchdowns early on Cleveland, and slow Myles Garrett down and not let him wreck the game. And he's a rare defensive talent. I think Lawrence Taylor, when I was coming up a teenager, Lawrence Taylor and them that can literally wreck the game, Myles Garrett is something like that. But he can do a lot of damage. Yeah. If you don't scheme him properly and you let him get a clean release and come off and you isolate your tackle. Olu Fashano is a very good tackle. In the future, going to be one of the best tackles in football. But he can't block Myles Garrett. No. He can't block Myles Garrett. Becton's a monster. Yeah. He struggled with Myles Garrett. That's scary.
Everybody does.
A man with size and power. Becton's struggling, to anchor against Myles Garrett. So that's what that tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your final score prediction?
I think it's going to be within 30 points. I'm thinking 24-21. I'm hoping the New York Jets can continue their momentum. Okay. Even though the shock waves are being felt of all these trades, that's going to be something interesting to see how this team responds. If they're going to be ready to, go on and tank it for the rest of this season, or will they show some fight and some spirit for their head coach and for themselves, and with Justin Fields go out there and play a good game. I'm home on weekends now. Yeah. I used to always have to work. Yep. And recently, because of my seniority, I've actually had a chance to sit down each week and watch these Jet games.
All right, let's go.
So I have that's right. So I have a much better perspective on them now. Okay. And Justin Fields, and I'm just hoping that Justin Fields can get out to a quick start, complete some passes, get the running game going with Breece Hall, get that balance going between run and pass, get a couple of scores early. Because I think if we can slow Myles Garrett and get a couple of scores up on them early, it'll be interesting to see whether that can carry us to victory. Just get some early momentum. And maybe, we get a turnover or 2 against Cleveland, and 24-21 would be nice.
Okay, 24-21 Jets?
That's right.
All right. Listen, North Carolina, I got to slide off. Thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
Definitely. I'm glad I saw your notification flashed on my phone. I said, oh, yeah, Long Beach, I've been wanting to talk to you for
what I'm talking about. Let's go, YouTube. Salutes. Thank you for calling in, man.
And thank you for taking my calls always. And you take care of yourself, buddy.
Absolutely. Same to you. Listen, man. We got North Carolina calling in. We're going to keep getting to these callers. Okay, we're going to keep getting to these callers. Val, is this you?
Joe.
So hold on 1 second. Let me, we're going to come to you in just a second. We're going to get the circus started. All right. Lamico Cardenas. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. He says, what up, though? You can tell he's from Detroit. LB Jets. Being from Detroit, I was completely correct, and a fan of MLK High School legend Sauce Garner and my former Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, why did the Jets trade your top corner? Well, Lamico, as it looks, as everything we're hearing now, it really was just a business decision. Okay, the Jets needed, or the Jets brass looked at the situation, say, hey, we need draft capital. They're looking to, at some point in the near future, grab a quarterback. They want to make some different moves. They really want to, I guess, go in a bit of a different direction and build the team more in their fitting or what they like. And they decided to move on from Sauce because the Colts called in with the type of value that they felt like they could not resist. Now, Lamico, okay, he says, yes, you did. Thank you. So I'm glad. And again, I want to thank you for watching, Lamico. Glad I pronounced your name right. I always want to try to do that. Now, do I agree with it, Lamico? Not really. Okay. I'm going to keep it all the way real. I'm not the biggest fan of this trade, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens going forward. Clearly, the Jets are going to be looking for a corner in future drafts as well. But they need to hit on the quarterback because when you trade guys like Quincy Williams, who's a really good player, no matter what Jets fans are trying to say now, and you trade a guy like Sauce, who's also a really good player, no matter what Jets fans are trying to say right now, dude, you better hit on the guy that's going to be throwing the ball and is going to be the face of your franchise. You better hit, because if you don't, it could be really bad, really, really bad. So, Lamico, salutes. Hopefully you subscribe, man. Again, we're Jets over here. As you see, we bleed green, but we welcome all fans from around the NFL. Okay, and call in one day. Hopefully, we'll hear from you. Also, salutes, and Val, we'll get to you in a second. Salutes to Vibes. Vibes says, nah, Joe, that's a loaded question. Who else did they have to pick from? No other QB was available. Stop it, Joe. Salutes to you, Vibes. Always good to see you in the building. Savage. That's not true. That's not true. And there were other guys that were out there, like as far as quarterback. Of course, there was no guys like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or anything. No. But there were other guys that they could have brought in, or they could have just stuck with Aaron Rodgers. They could have done that too, right? The point is, right, regardless of whatever it is you guys are, whatever, other idea that it was, at the end of the day, they said, we're moving on from Aaron Rodgers. We're selecting Justin Fields to lead this football team. That's our guy. So much so that we'll give him a deal with however many years, right? $30 million guaranteed. We're going to give him $30 million guaranteed. I think the deal is $40 million overall, but we'll guarantee $30 million of it. This is our guy. So if you selected him as your quarterback, in which they did, and then you were prepared to bench him 6.5 weeks into the season, and the only reason that you didn't was because Tyrod Taylor's knee didn't hold up, you have to, as me, the host of the show here, I'm going to ask tough questions. How can I trust you, right, to go in and get that young quarterback, right? Am I just supposed to have just such a warm, fuzzy feeling when you picked a guy already and you were ready to bench him? Like, you have to start going, am I, I'm not saying they can't get it done. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they're, just a question mark. Okay? So I'm going to ask the tough questions. I'm going to ask them. Salutes, Vibes. And again, everyone in the chat, please keep putting your thoughts in the chat. Salutes to all the savages in the building as well. Hemi says, huge salutes to you as well, Hemi. Savage. He says, I wonder how these new players from trades will perform for us. I think that's an interesting point as well, Hemi. Mozzie Smith, I know he's had a very up and down career to this point, but I'll tell you what, I think as a run stopper, if we just ask him to come in here and clog up these lanes and just pile up the bodies, I think it's something that he can do decently well. I think he's going to be a guy that if they just ask him to focus on being a run stuffer, I think he's a guy that could do some things within our rotation. I think he could be a solid defensive lineman here. Not somebody stellar. I don't think he's going to have high sack counts, but I think that he can do something here as a run stuffer. All right? As a run stuffer. AD, he's He had a rookie year. It looked like his second year that things were going to get rolling. I remember he dropped the ball before the end zone on a 75-yard would have been a touchdown. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens with him. I'll tell you what, that number 2 wide receiver spot is wide open, next to Garrett Wilson. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he develops here. He's a bit more of a question mark for me, but we'll see what happens going forward. Maybe these guys are going to be able to come into the building and get some things rolling. But we're getting to these lines, all right? We're getting to these lines because I got questions. I got callers. Listen, this caller, you already know what time it is. Dun, 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 dun. The circus is in the building. We got Val on the line, and he is a savage. Okay. Val's a savage. Salutes to you, Val. You're in the building, man. Quincy Williams, Sauce Gardner traded. What are your thoughts?
I can't even. It's like we're 24 hours into this situation. I just can't even believe it, man. I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, I knew what this season was going to be. Like I said it in the beginning of the season, when we had those free agencies, those one-and-done players, those prove-it deals, it was all due to they was trying to get the culture, who's going to fit the culture. This was a big tryout year and everything. But did I know they was going to trade our number 1 cornerback? Absolutely not. I did not think about that. But we on a remember Joe, they were saying retooling. Nah, this is a rebuilding situation.
Yeah, it
this
is.
A rebuilding.
Yeah,
they disguised it as retooling. No, this is definitely a rebuilding situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, I didn't like that trade when it came to Sauce Gardner. Now, when a couple of hours went by, I digested it a little bit. Yes, I have Sauce Gardner shirts, you know what I'm saying? And, I was definitely with Sauce Gardner all the way. He wanted to be a Jet for life. He always said that he wants to be here. And, he also said that if the Jets was doing good and he got traded, he would be the biggest hater if the Jets started doing good and he was in here. So, of course, he wanted to be here. The only person I was worried about was Garrett Wilson. But other than that, all right, so just to get back to the trade, I will say the trade was actually good when it comes to picks.
Okay.
You get a young receiver, you get 2 first-round picks. Even though we love Sauce Gardner, he has not played the way how he played in the rookie season or the second season. Even the third season, I would say, was probably questionable a little bit, and then the fourth season, of course, wasn't that well. But listen, regardless or not, he wasn't playing that well. He was still stopping people.
Yeah.
Nobody was scoring at him like that. Now, there was questions about the tackling, the open tackles.
Absolutely.
There was questions about the, sometimes he gets lost in the zone sometimes, and then he doesn't, take accountability sometimes, and then he blames it on the other players. I've seen that a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like this narrative on him that he's overrated, but it's just like nobody scores on him. When I see him against DK, Metcalf, he's shutting him down. Chase, even though he didn't play Jamal Chase, but I seen him play Jamal Chase, shuts him down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he shut down a lot of wide receivers that are supposedly number ones, and he even went to battle with Stephon Diggs when he was on the Buffalo Bills. So this man was really, that was our true number one, because let's be serious, Joe. When we had Adam Gase as a head coach and we was going against the Buffalo Bills and we had no cornerbacks and Stephon Diggs was just falling on us and they was just cooking on us. Like, it was terrible until we got Sauce Gardner and all that stopped right then and there. So it just hurts, man. But I will say Bougie did do a good job when it came to getting capital back, because had it been just 1 first-round pick and a wide receiver, I would have been highly upset. But 2 first-round picks for this year and next year, I can't deny that, Now for Quincy Williams. All right, so here we go with Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams, I understand. I heard there was some rumors that he wanted to move on. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. I'm not even mad at him, because he's been through the Adam Gates era.
Yeah.
He's been through the Robert Saleh era.
Yeah.
And then he was just about to get to his third coach, when he actually did get to his third coach in Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
So I feel like, it was just time. He's getting older. He wants to start winning. He wants to have a franchise quarterback, and he wants to get, a new scenery. So I'm not mad at him for moving on. You know what I'm saying? If the rumors are true that he wanted to move on from the Jets and stuff. But I feel like we also got good capital back from the Cowboys. And I'm not going to lie to you, Joe. Muji didn't get fleeced. Like, he was standing his guard, and he actually got some good capital back. But as the question that you always ask, you got to hit on these picks.
Facts. Facts.
That's what it all comes down to. You got to hit on these picks.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, a lot of people was like, oh, man, this is good draft capital back and stuff like that. But they're the Jets. They don't know how to pick out quarterbacks. They don't know how to develop quarterbacks. So that's going to be always the problem. Now, do we trust this coaching staff to develop a quarterback? That is a question mark. Do we trust Muji to draft well? That is also a question mark. But it's a lot of question marks. But I will say the capital that we got back, it was definitely good. Okay. I feel like we didn't get fleeced. I don't feel like we, a team, because like I said, I've seen a lot of grades. It was a lot of A pluses for us, but like I said, all those grades doesn't mean nothing until you actually show improve, on those days. In the draft.
No, yeah. And I see your point. I want to go. I don't know, man. I understand. It just sucks because Sauce is a foundational guy, man. Sauce and Quinnen are foundational guys, and it just sucks to lose foundational guys in this situation, in a situation like this, and be like, man, now we got to go out. We got to get another defensive tackle. We got to get another corner. And then we got to, if this is all for the quarterback, we got to hit on the quarterback. Because if we don't, big problems. big problems.
You got 2 years.
Yeah.
You have 2 years to do it.
I mean, and it's rough. But I tell you what, man, there's other guys on this team as well that were on the block, according to reports. And Breece Hall was one of them. And there's a lot of talk about, the Kansas City Chiefs wanted Breece Hall, only offering a 4. The Jets wanted a 3. And then there was talks about Breece Hall, rumors swirling that he, put out a report or contacted someone to put out that he wanted to be traded. And what are your thoughts about that situation, man? Even though Breece told people, I want to be here if they'll have me. I played that audio earlier. He also didn't address. He didn't really address if those reports were true or not. He said some things were true, some things were not. I'm just, I played the audio earlier. I'm just saying. What are your thoughts about Breece and his situation right now? Do you think that he stays a New York Jet? Like, what do you think is going to happen with him at this point?
Hey, man. Honestly, I'm surprised that I haven't heard any, extension that happened yet. I would have thought that extension would have happened already or something, but again, it's just the running back position that somehow, some way, these organizations do not utilize the running back or find them as they feel like they're replaceable, to be honest with you. And sometimes, like I said, we just haven't. I'm not gonna say this coaching staff, but previous coaching staff, they just didn't know how to use Breece Hall. I mean, this man has a lot of talent. Yes,
Facts.
He's not playing like how he played in the rookie season, but if you get this man the ball and get him a part of the plays, this man will kill the defense for sure. And I feel like we got better offensive line to actually do it. And we also seen what we did against the Bengals, even though they don't have a good defense, but still, you see that Breece Hall can still make some plays. He's a playmaker, and it's hard to find that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was easy just like that, you would see multiple running backs like an LT or Adrian Peterson coming out of the draft every year. That doesn't happen like that. Yeah. So if you have one, you keep that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
And just like, and Joe, to be honest with you, you've been asking this since the summertime. Where is Breece Hall's contract? We need this man. Why would you wait until, the trade deadline before, stuff started getting awkward and stuff as it is right now? He'd have done it before, the season start, and that's what I feel like they should have did. But I'm just shocked about this. And about Quincy, I don't know. That's an awkward situation too, man, because as we all know, Quincy's a baller. Like, this is a person that dominates, gets to the quarterback, tackles, always brings that energy. We've been missing that energy for a couple of weeks, and he's benched now. So I really don't understand what's going on with that situation. Yes, the coverage does be sometimes suspect, but they feel like the rookie's actually outplaying Quincy somehow, some way. But I don't know, to be honest with you, Joe.
Yeah, my question is about that, though, is if you're going to bench this guy and say that he hasn't been performing up to your standards since training camp, well, why didn't you just trade him?
Right.
Why didn't you just take whatever it was that you could get for him? Because you're going to bench him anyway. So why didn't you just take whatever you could get for him and move on from him? Why would you keep him on the team?
After the season?
Say it again?
Is he a free agent after the season?
I think so. And so that starts to make you wonder, hey, man, like, what is the future for him? I mean, clearly, if you benching him, you're going to move on from him. You should have just gotten something done with him. Like, you should have just got something done for him. Take whatever it is that you can take for him and move on. But I don't know. When I watch the games, Quincy is really the backer that's doing stuff. Like, he's the one flying around all day, every day. So
exactly.
I don't know. I know that just checking out, there's a bunch of void years that he's got, 2026 on down to 2029. But I don't know. I just don't get it. The situation with Quincy is really, really strange at this point. I mean, he even tweeted out when Quinnen got traded, he tweeted out a guy that was just like, whatever. Like, he tweeted out a gift that was like, just whatever. You know, that was his reaction. Wow. Even when he was asked about it by the media, he just kind of said, you know, I've been wrapped up in, you know, my own mess trying to figure things out. I really haven't processed it. So I don't know what's going on here with Quincy. But if you get rid of him, too, basically you're revamping. Sherwood hasn't been all that great to me this year either. Go ahead.
No, he hasn't. And my thing is like, I feel like this year, like, you know, I just feel like are these Aaron Glenn type of players? Because I'm trying to figure out what type of players is Aaron Glenn. Now, I can understand the cornerback position. I feel like he wants the cornerbacks to be tackling, to be, you know, more aggressive. And I feel like Sauce wasn't as aggressive as that. He's more like a blocker. You know, like he blocked the ball down. He doesn't get interceptions as much as well, too. He doesn't turn his head around. Mm-hmm. And again, two-handsy as well, too. But sometimes the referees just target him and stuff. But going back to the linebacker position, I just feel like, you know, I feel like Quincy should be that. I mean, he fits that Aaron Glenn aggressive, get to the quarterback or get to the or the running back or whoever has the ball, and he's there all the time. Like he's the person that pops out of your screen all the time. The only problem I feel like with Quincy is probably this coverage. That's about it, you know.
But my thing is, okay, but if that's true, right? You get rid of guys like Sauce, Quincy Williams. Now you're moving. Why don't you just say we're doing a rebuild? Like what? Right. What are you scared of at this point? Because that's literally what you're doing. Like you're literally just say you're rebuilding. Like why is this?
I think it's because
what's the deal?
They want people to buy tickets or something, or because he's a new head coach. But that's what I said. Like in the beginning of the season, I knew, Joe. I said this in the beginning of the season. Yeah. I knew I said it was like probably going to be 7 to 8 games that we might win. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't like this free agency. Free agency, I was just like, I was like, this team doesn't seem like it's trying to go. Like they're trying to go to the playoffs. It seems like they're trying to not purposely lose games, or like try to
prepare for the future.
Like 5 or top 10 in the draft or something like
that.
But because remember, Joe, we was like, where is the second wide receiver? Where's all these wide receivers? These are not
That's a fact.
It's only Garrett Wilson. So it's just like they wasn't really trying to win.
Yeah.
And then the play calling, it was just like, you start questioning, like even when we went against Denver. It's like when we didn't even try to, before the half, we didn't even try to be aggressive. Like, we just let the time go out, and it was like we was waving the white flag. And I'm just like, what is going on right now? Are we purposely losing games? That's what was crossing my mind at that time, which is crazy. I couldn't even be questioning that. But, yeah, that's what I was questioning at that time. But, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
But quick question, Joe. Do you feel like Rick Spielman has a little bit to do with this when it comes to the trades and stuff? Because he has a lot of knowledge. He is our quiet senior.
The advisor. Yeah, the guy that's advising Moogie. He may have some, some. Because I remember before when we first brought Moogie in, Spillman was a guy that was announced as like he was gonna, be able to kind of help. He wasn't. They kind of softly tried to say like he doesn't run things, but he definitely is a guy that's going to advise them and be involved in certain things to kind of help them learn. Because again, first time general manager, first time head coach, stuff like that. I think that he could he could be playing a role in this situation. Of course, I think that Say it again.
I said helping Muji.
Yeah, helping Moog and stuff like that. I definitely think he is, but I just. To me, when I look at this situation and I look at this team, I mean, even though Moog has said, "Oh, this is not a tear down," because somebody there was in the media was like, "Hey, this is a tear down." When they were questioning him, he's like, "Oh, first off, this is not a tear down." It's like, yeah, it is. You guys are trying to basically do a soft rebuild or a straight full on rebuild, and you're trying not to say that it is a rebuild. But my thing is like, again, I'm looking at this team. And yes, we lack talent, but a lot of the games that we lost, we were thoroughly outcoached. And no one's talking about that, but your boy Joe will, okay? Because I remember when we were 0-7, there were multiple Jets fans that I talked to that said, "Joe, I know you like Aaron Glenn. He needs to be fired at the end of this season." And I said, "Oh, really?" I've been hearing it. I just listened. I didn't say nothing. I just listened. And they said, "Joe, his in-game decisions is terrible. The defensive game plan is terrible. The offensive game plan at times is awful. Like, what is going on here? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? Hey, Joe, did you watch those drives before halftime?" I just sat back and listened. And so I'm just wondering, like, okay, cool. Like, we have the capital now. The trades are done. It is what it is. But is that like, are they going to be able to develop these guys? And is Aaron Glenn going to grow and get better as a coach? Because like he's been pretty bad this year. And I don't know why no one doesn't want to talk about it anymore, but we were talking about it for 7 weeks straight. So, I mean, what are your thoughts, Val?
And my thoughts is as well, too, like, like I told you in the preseason, man, I was like, listen, everybody was praising Aaron Glenn. And I'm just like, listen, I know how things could get quickly. Listen, everybody was like, "Oh, he has all the answers. Love how he talks and everything." And you see how that quickly changed. Oh, he just thinks he knows it all and everything. Or, he's not saying, he's just saying stuff but doesn't back up what he says. And then the whole Justin Fields situation.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And then he was like, "Oh, he's not living up to what he said." And, when he saying, "Oh, well, that's a dumb question," then he double backed on it and stuff. So it was just a lot. So that's why I was just like, listen, Aaron Glenn, you're going into a situation that is very dangerous. That's why I was just like, listen, the I know we wasn't aggressive in the free agency, but it was just like, I don't know, man, because this is going to change really quick. And I know how fans are when it comes to the Jets. They would change on you real quick if stuff is not going right. That's exactly what happened. And I've been hearing fire Aaron Glenn. He doesn't know what he's doing or anything. But even though I'm gonna say this, Joe, too, even though we're losing, Joe, I still see fight on this team. I still see what I'm saying, like they want to still play hard for Aaron Glenn. But you cannot keep losing. That's the only thing. Now, I will compare this, Joe. I'm going to do this right now, too, because I was just thinking about this. They're basically, how Muji's from the Denver Broncos, right? They're basically modeling after the Denver Broncos, because the Denver Broncos, remember that season when they lost to the Miami Dolphins 72-0 and stuff, and it was done, and then completely, like, took out all the players, and then they built the draft. That's exactly what the Jets is basically trying to do right now. And I just feel like we're trying to follow that model because, Peyton and Muji and everybody was over there and stuff. Yep. So I guess that's what they're trying to do. Just try to take out all the last regime and pay off Aaron Rodgers, pay off Mike Williams, get off of a lot of the contracts, and then next year we're projected to have $117 million in salary cap. So we're going to be a little bit more aggressive next year, but I feel like 2027, that's when we're going to really, like, step on that gas and really go. But it just sucks that, we got to wait probably 2 years for this to be fully, established to see what goes on and stuff, or we could get more capital with one of these picks and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping to see it. And I'm hoping that Aaron Glenn becomes a better head coach, because
Yeah,
we've seen it.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, because we've had this. Look at Aaron Rodgers' final year here. We had a lot of talent. That team should not have been as bad as it was. Why? What was one of the biggest factors to why the Jets were bad? The coaching was horrific.
Oh my God!
It was horrific.
Oh my!
It was
God.
so bad.
Terrible.
Jets coaching was from
terrible.
Nathaniel Hackett to everybody. Robert Sulla, just bad. It was so bad. It was insane.
Oh, Breece Hall could catch the ball? I didn't know that. How do I remember it was week
bad.
12? That's how PTSD I have. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's terrible. I'm just, oh man.
It was bad. It was bad. So my next question for you, Val. These guys we got, A.D. Mitchell, Mozzie Smith, do you think they'll be able to have big impacts for the New York Jets? What are your expectations of them?
Listen, A.D. Mitchell, I would say, like, he was a player that was highly requested for us to draft. Like, everybody was like, man, get A.D. Mitchell in the second or third round when we was drafting a lot of players. And then when we didn't get him, a lot of fans was just like, like they was off because it was like, man, he was right there. We could have got him. So this kid has a lot of potential. We're going to have to see, if he could just tap into that potential. I feel like Aaron Glenn could possibly, he has no nonsense, like he's more of discipline and stuff. And, he tries to correct a lot of things. I will say the flags got a little bit better as well too, but it's still a problem as well. But and all that to say is, if there is some correction, I feel like AG could probably get, the best ability. And then on top of that, he could learn off of Garrett Wilson. So, I just hope that, he could tap into that unprotected, untapped potential as well, too, because he did make a lot of mistakes in Indy from what I heard.
Yeah, he did.
He did the Corley. But
he did do that on us. It would have been a 75-yard touchdown too. I remember watching that. That was crazy.
A lot of weapons in Indy, so that's why he kind of got iced out and they kind of moved on. But again, another 25-year-old or 24-year-old only on his second year. So we got a lot of young talent and stuff. So like I said, we could best believe he could get to that potential. He's not even in his prime yet. He's still in his second year in his rookie contract. So, and he was in the third round. So it's low risk, high reward, basically, I would say. So he is like a third or a fourth wide receiver.
Yeah. Good take, man. What are your thoughts? Jets, Cleveland coming up. What are your keys to victory for the New York Jets?
Oh man, I don't even know right now. We got so many pieces going. All right, I would say we need Justin Fields to play the way how he played against the Bengals. We need him to play with that confidence. Are we going to see it? That is a question that we have to see. Defense has to stop them on, we have to stop the running game, and we also have to stop the passing game as well, too. Now, our number one cornerback is Brandon Stevenson. So now he has to actually really step up now. So, we're going to see what he's about. And Brownlee, I am happy about. But our keys to victory, I will say, is, like I said, the secondary has to get it together, especially the safety position, and also to stop the run.
Yeah. What is your final score prediction? Jets, Browns. Who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it ends up?
Sheesh. Oh, man, you just put me on the spot, huh?
Facts. Don't run. Don't run.
Oh, man.
We need your prediction. Don't run.
Okay. I'm gonna go Jets 24, Browns 17.
Okay. He's taking Jets. All right. Listen, Val.
Yeah. If Garrett Wilson plays. But,
okay. Yeah, and again, he was out on the field practicing today. He's still dealing with that knee injury, so we'll see what happens going forward. But listen, Val, this is a phenomenal call from you, man. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right.
Absolutely, Joe. And listen, as we all do, there's no blog talk anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that we got our victory in our defamation of character. I'm glad that we got that over with, just like how we got this draft this trade deadline over with. So, I'm just happy that we could come to odds and, no more defamation of character. And salute to all the witnesses out there. I'm out of here, Joe.
Peace out, man. Get him out of here. Defamation of character. Him and the rest of these guys talk about that. That's old. It's not defamation of character because I have the proof. They may not be around anymore, but I still got the proof. Defamation of character. Get up out of here. All right. Salutes to all the savages in the chat, man. Salutes to all of you. All right. Man, oh man. Lamiko says Justin Fields' best year was his last season with the Bears. The Lions barely beat the Bears that season. He also says, I was wondering where did Rick Spielman land after his stint with the Vikings. Yeah. He also goes on to say, give it time with patience. Jets head coach Aaron Glenn is building something special. Look, I like Aaron Glenn a lot. I do. But even as a guy that wanted him, and I absolutely did, he was one of the guys that I wanted to see be the head coach of the New York Jets. Absolutely. Y'all can go back and watch all the shows. I talked about it ad nauseum. He was one of the guys that was in there in my, in the circle of guys that I wanted to see turn out to be the Jets head coach. We got him. I was extremely excited. But let's not act like there hasn't been a lot of times during this season where people felt, not Jets fans and even people outside of the Jets have looked and been like, maybe this guy is in over his head. There's been some times there's some horrific game management, horrific calls, just a lot of bad stuff. And that went into a lot of our losses as well. Do I think that, he'll continue forward and turn things around? I absolutely think he has the ability to do that. Yeah. I think he's a guy that can get things done, but there's still questions like, is it going to happen? All right. Because I remember the same thing with Robert Saleh. All right. Great guy, great defensive coordinator, came in, things are rolling, but if you don't have the right coaches, you ain't got the right staff in place. There's been questions about our offensive game planning as well. A lot of questions about a lot of stuff. So those questions need to be asked, and I'm here to ask them. That's for sure. All right. So I'm hoping, they turn things around and that the Jets are able to, get things rolling. But, these things are tough, man. These things are very, very tough.
The person you're trying to reach is not.
I guess we missed out on that caller. So we're going to, continue forward. And I'm hoping that the New York Jets are going to be able to figure things out. I really, really am. Because now, Sauce is gone, Quinnen's gone. We got the capital. There's definitely some positions on the team that need to be filled. Of course, defensive tackle, corner. Our linebacker position is looking a little shaky. Our safety position is look shaky. We're going to see what happens, man. We're going to see what happens. But A.D. Mitchell is a guy I think can contribute. The door is wide open for him, too. Mozzie Smith is a guy I think can definitely give us something on the defensive side for sure, especially, again, in the running game. But the Jets are going to have to hit on these picks, man. It is pivotal for the Jets to hit on these picks. They can't miss. They can't miss. They have to hit on these picks to turn things around and really compete. Because the longer it takes, the more that Jets fans are going to lack patience. And especially, again, if the coaching's not there, it's going to make it even worse. So they got to hit and they got to develop these guys as well. So see what happens as it goes forward. Now we're going to talk about this upcoming game against the Browns. Offensively, man, listen here. Justin Fields. I need to see Justin Fields let the ball go fast. All right. This Jets offensive line is going to have their hands full, man. Real talk. Pause. With, having to block Myles Garrett alone is ridiculous. But they got some other guys out there as well. Alex Wright is another guy that they have that's can get after it. We have to get these guys blocked, especially Myles Garrett. Do not let him get lost. They're going to move him around all over the place, as we all know. They're probably going to move him over Armand Mimbu quite a bit because he's the rookie. You got to be prepared for that, man. and we've got to make adjustments. We've seen in the past during this very season that the Jets often don't have adjustments offensively sometimes, especially with pass rushers, the ilk of, Myles Garrett. So we got to be fully prepared for him and get him blocked, because if you don't, Justin Fields is going to get mauled. He's going to get mauled, and that's going to stop the Jets' entire offense. We all know that. So get Myles Garrett blocked, get solid up front, open up some running lanes. The Jets have to run the football effectively, and they got to get the ball in the hands of Breece Hall, point blank period. The Jets have to run the ball. They have to run the ball effectively. Also, Breece Hall needs to be a big part of the offensive game plan, being that relief valve. There needs to be some screens, because we know the Browns, they're going to send some heat as well. Get some screens going. Get Breece Hall coming out of the backfield on a wheel route. Get him some short routes so you can turn around, boom, catch the ball, get rolling. You need to get some up-tempo stuff. Don't sit around with Myles Garrett chasing after you. Get some up-tempo stuff. Get rolling, all right? The Jets' offense has to be fast. Get going fast. Get going now, okay? They've got to do that. Defensively, this is going to be very interesting because, again, Sauce is not going to be playing in this game. Cleveland's offense isn't, astounding at all. But I tell you what, Jerry Jeudy will still route you up. Jeudy will still route you up, all right? We're going to see what's up. No Sauce. Stevens is probably going to be at that number one corner spot. AZ's probably at the other spot. Yo, Jarvis Brownlee, if I haven't already, let me give him a shout out. Jarvis Brownlee has been really good he's been a spark for the Jets. And I talk about it quite a bit on social media, but I also want to talk about it, and I think I talk about it in my videos, but I'm definitely going to talk about him right now in this live. He's made some plays since we got him from the Titans. He's made some plays. He made a play to stop to end the drive against the Bengals. Jarvis Brownlee's been really solid, and I want to see his role expand. I don't know where he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be in the slot. I don't know if eventually he's going to be the number 2. I don't know, but he's been really making plays. So I want to see him out there continuing to do what he does. Salutes and respect to him, because he's been a guy that, again, has provided a spark for the Jets defense. But yeah, I want to see what coverage looks like. Brandon Stevens, here you go. Dylan Gabriel sucks. He sucks. And if the Jets get some pass rush on him, I think he'll get mauled. Yo, Will McDonald, I don't know what's going on with him. I was hoping to see more from him this season. They got to do more to get him involved, because I think to this point he only has 2 sacks on the season, I think he only has 2 sacks on the season. He might have more, but actually he might have 3 sacks now. I think he had one against Cincinnati. But yo, they've got to do more to get Will involved. I don't know if they can blitz him or do something, but you got to do more to get him involved. This is a game where he could feast, bro. He could feast. Will McDonald got to be up all around the joint. All right, get all in Dylan Gabriel's face. If you bang him around, that's going to turn into interceptions. That guy sucks. He sucks. And I know the Browns, for whatever reason, don't want to start Shador. Good. Don't. Okay? But they got to bang Dylan Gabriel around. And if they do that, that's going to put them in a really good position and situation to take this game. I'm not really scared of the Browns running game, but again, no Quincy Williams. I want to see how this defensive line reacts to that. And if they're going to be able to hold things, solidly without, Quinnen on that line anymore. So we're going to see what's going on with that. Also, David Njoku, a guy that you get him the football, he can make some moves. I want to see what's going to happen with this Jets linebacking core, especially with Quincy Williams, now being a backup and not being a starter anymore. We're going to see what's going on with that. So there's going to be some tests for this Jets defense, and I'm hoping that they pass those tests, because I do not want to lose to the Cleveland Browns. Okay? So with all that said, I'm going to take the Jets to win this game. I'm going to take them to win this game in a close, ugly game. I'm taking the Jets to win 14-7. 14-7, I'm taking the Jets. It's just how I'm feeling right now. 14-7, I'm taking the Jets. So, salute to all the Savages. We're going to go ahead and close this out. Phenomenal show. Again, I want to thank everybody for calling in. I apologize to the caller that I missed. We're going to continue, doing shows throughout the rest of the season and in the off season. So Hopefully I hear from you folks again. But this is a phenomenal show. Again, I want to thank everybody for calling in. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Okay? I am also on Twitter as well. All right? Going over to Twitter, type in at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. All right? Follow me, I'll follow you right back. If you want to troll me, no issues. I will troll you right back. I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times. Okay? At all times. I am hoping that they don't. Maybe it's a little too soon, but I'm hoping they don't trade Elijah Vera Tucker. They're trading everybody else, okay? Hide your kids, hide your wife. Everybody getting traded out here. All right. Oh man. Yeah. So too soon. All right. Well, me and Vera Tucker. All right, we're gonna be under that bridge trolling. If you want to troll, come on by and we'll troll you. I'm also on YouTube as well. Going over to YouTube. All right, type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. And if you want to troll me, get in the comments and troll me as well. Love going back and forth as well. And when you see me, because you will see me, I'll be outside, okay? I'll be outside. I'll be outside. I don't hide, all right? When you see me in person, because you will always see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone, okay? Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to check in with your boy, to listen to the show, to watch the show, to call into the show, all right? Without you folks, I'm absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to get involved with everything your boy is doing, okay? I want to thank y'all for that. I really, really appreciate it, all right? So until the next show, you folks have a good one. Peace. All right, boom. I'm back, y'all. Listen, phenomenal show. I want to thank everybody for watching. Uh-oh. Hold on now. Let me see here. Oh, hold on. Bang. Okay. Exclamation point links in the chat. That's the link to all my link tree. Has the links to all of my social media. Also has the links to all of my YouTube pages. All right. For those of you that do not know, we do this show year round. Okay. I'll continue this show. I know I've been, I missed last week. Lot of things moving and shaking. My schedule is crazy. Okay. I'm living an amazing life. But please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Get involved with everything we do over here. Salutes and respect to everybody that watched, listened, subscribed today. And those of you that subscribe, period. I love doing this show. We bleed green over here. We love the New York Jets. But, we do talk about other, we want to hear from other fans, other perspectives about what they see. We have various fans that call in, various fans that are in the chat. Salutes to Lamico, Lions fan. We have all kinds of fans that call in. Patriots fans call in here sometimes. Falcons fans, all that stuff. So we have a lot of fun. This is the number to call in. If anyone's confused, that is the number to call into the show. That may change. I may have another way of taking calls to get in on the show, but that may be in the future. I'll let y'all know when that changes. But as for now, this is the number, and this is how we're calling in. If I miss your call, I will call you back, okay? And I apologize for anyone that I missed. But again, I get through callers, as y'all see. We get rolling, and I call y'all back. So we have a lot of fun here. The only thing I don't allow on my show is cursing. Don't call into my show cursing like crazy. I will get you up out of here. I'm talking fast. I don't play that. This is YouTube. YouTube is very sensitive. They're very sensitive, okay? And I love YouTube, so I'm going to respect YouTube's sensitivity. All right? Now, with that said, this is also a family show. I have a lot of, young people that listen to me. I have a lot of older people that listen to me, and they don't want to hear all that cursing, and neither do I. All right. So don't come in here cursing with all those crazy words. All right. Now, I know my audience. I know that, y'all, you're very intelligent. You can, display your thought process. You can, display, how you feel without using those words. But I just have to put that out there for those, that may not know. Okay. So don't call into my show cursing like crazy. I may allow you once, one curse word, and I'll say, hey, this is a family show, watch it. And if you keep going, I'll get you out of there. Sometimes I don't even do that. If you start cursing, you say a word bad enough, I'll just get you out of there on the first one. I'll hang up on you. No problems. Cause I don't come over here doing that. Just, just be smooth, be cool, and give me your thoughts without, utilizing those words. And I know y'all can because you're very intelligent. Okay. My listeners, the people that watch me are very intelligent people. So I know that they can do that. Also, when you call in, make sure your phone line's good. Okay. You got a bad phone line, crackling like crazy. Some phone you got from a Home Depot dumpster. I got to move on. If I can't hear you, my audience can't hear you. What can we do? There's nothing we can do. All right. Also, background noise. That's got to go too. All right. You're out somewhere and it sounds like you got, buses rolling behind you crazy. We can't hear you. Crazy wind blowing. It's like, come on now. All right. I'll move on from you for that as well. All right. Patch that up. Get it together. All right. So please just call in. Good phone line. Good connection. Let's have that discussion. Also, I'm not a guy that goes off on people. I know some people have said in the past that, well, Joe, I was a little intimidated. I wanted to call in, but I was intimidated. Don't be. All right. I want to hear your perspective. Now, keep in mind when you call in, I'm going to challenge your perspective. I want to hear it. All right. I want to hear what you got to say, but I'm definitely going to challenge your perspective because, I want to hear the depth of your perspective. Why? Why do you think what you think? How do you feel? Be prepared to defend your take. All right. Sometimes I outright disagree. Sometimes people convince me, hey, you know what? That is a good way to think about something. All right. So please be prepared for your perspective to get challenged. But all perspectives are welcomed here. All of them. All right. And again, we have fans from across all fan bases call in. If you are not a Jets fan, don't, let that curtail you from calling in and speaking your mind, okay, about the New York Jets, all right? And sometimes we have a little chatter about another team, okay? We've had that here, so we don't mind that. And salutes to Lamico and all the other, we have Raiders fans that call in. Before Jack is called in, he's a Raiders fan. We have Patriots fans that call in, Falcons fans that call in. We got a guy from ATL that calls in all the time. He's a Falcons fan. So, don't let that, stop you from, calling into the Long Beach Joe show and speaking your mind about the Jets and various other things. So, but stay on topic. All right. Stay on topic. We have a lot of fun. Please join. Sometimes we do live watch alongs where we'll watch a game together, and then after the game, we'll sit back and have a live radio show, and that gets crazy. Oh man, that gets crazy. Excuse me. It gets wild, especially when the Jets lose. Oh, those shows are hot. All right, and again, don't call into my show cursing on that either. All right. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun, man. Sometimes you'll catch me gaming. I'll try to get back to that soon enough. My schedule's crazy though, so. I know there's a lot of people mad that I don't game as much as I used to, but my schedule's wild, man. But sometimes you'll catch your boy gaming. I'll be in here playing GTA, all kinds of things. All right. So come on in if you see that. And, come on in and check your boy out. We'll just be in here talking about life and what's going on. All right. Inflation is high. Okay. And I hope everybody is staying safe out there, man. Seriously, this world's getting crazy, and I hope everybody's good in it. All right. Hope everybody has an amazing life. I have an amazing life, and I hope everybody else is living well too. But I definitely, inflation is high out here. All right. But be safe. All right. So we have a lot of fun. Join, subscribe if you haven't already. Get involved with everything that we do. We have a very good time here. So. I got to get out of here. Listen, folks, be safe, okay? Be safe, folks, all right? Sit down with your friends and your family, eat some good food, have a good meal, watch some good TV, and let the people that you know, that you love know that you love them, okay? It's important to me in my life, and I hope it's important to you in yours, all right? Man, because you just never know. You never know, what can happen. So, salutes to all the savages in the chat, man. Val, I see you in the building. Lamiko salutes. He says, Lions GM Brad Holmes standing still during this trade deadline is a mystery. Trust me, most Lion fans aren't happy with the genius GM villain. I'll tell you what, your Lions is balling though. Y'all play to the wall, man. You guys are a really good football team. Outlaw of Val says, do you think we get our quarterback this year or 2027? It really, I got a feeling that they're going to play for 2027. I got a feeling that that's what they're going to do, but there's some guys this year that's interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit more as the season continues on, but I got a feeling that the Jets are probably gonna go for one in 2027, but this class has some guys in it, but I don't know if the Jets would want to take one of these guys, but we'll see. We'll continue to talk about it, but as for now, I'm thinking more 2027 as for now. All right. Val says, great stream. Salutes. Thank you. Salutes, man. Salutes to Singles. Salutes. Good to see you in the building. Gangrene, salutes to see you in the building as well. Gilly, salutes. Vibes, always good to see you in the building as well. Hemi, salutes and respect to you. GM, salutes and respect to you, man. Operation, salutes and respect to you. Chris B as well, salutes and respect to you, man. Salutes and respect to everybody, that watch me and, enjoys what I do and keeps on coming back, man. Keep getting involved with everything that I'm doing. So, again, y'all, be safe, man. Be safe out there and take care of yourselves and keep your heads on a swivel because the world's getting crazy. Don't ask me why. All right. So until the next show,